So our theme this month is inspire, the word inspire. Not inspired or inspiring, but just the word inspire. So, did that song inspire you? Yes? Yeah. There is a quality to that song that is inspiring, and it does inspire. It does what that word is all about, to inspire. In the lyric, you may say, I'm a dreamer. Let me grab this. And I love that. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. And I want to ask the questions today, where do these dreams come from? Where did that song come from? Where did those lyrics come from? Those lyrics that seem like they could have been written this week. Yes? In the world that we live in right now, that song is so powerfully relevant to what's going on in the world around us. And the idea, the dream, the concept that we could live as one, that's on the relative plane, we look at that, to live as one. But on the quantum plane, in the field of spirituality, we do live as one. There's only one thing, right? So where do dreams come from? And for that, I want to go to Ernest Holmes and the title of my talk this morning, which is Thor. So this isn't working? No, this isn't working. So I'm going to have to ask you to move the slides. So that's the title of my talk, Fire in the Belly. Anybody want to tell me what that means?
Bad Mexican food.
Bad Mexican food. Okay. Okay. Let's start there. Why does it have to be bad Mexican food? It can just be Mexican food. Fire in the belly. Yes. Okay, let me take it a little deeper than that. So the fire in the belly, Ernest Holmes talks about this, is exactly what Joselito was talking about. That deep part of you, that creative part of you, that passionate part of you, but actually the totality of you in terms of who you are. And so, next slide, Thor. So, fire in the belly, a powerful sense of determination, passion, and inner drive. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, right? A part of you that is so passionate, so driven, that you can feel it. You literally can feel it in your body. How many of you feel that way about something very specific right now? Great, good answer. If you don't, I'm here to tell you there is something. There's something inside of you that would you just tap into it, the fire in the belly, would make itself known to you. But you have to be willing. You have to be willing. You have to be open to it. So this month, when we talk about inspire, I want you to be willing to have things inspire you as you go through this month. Because there is a fire in your belly. Next slide. Let me see if I had this. Is it a battery thing, Thor? Yeah, no, it's dead. You know what, Swan, can I give you this? Maybe you can give it back to me. Ready? Beautiful. Okay. So, those with fire in the belly exhibit unwavering commitment and a strong desire to succeed. Unwavering commitment and a strong desire to succeed. How many of you have witnessed unwavering commitment in your life produce results? Right? So we've proven this. We prove it all the time. When we're really unwaveringly committed and we have a strong desire to succeed at what it is we want to do, when we're really clear, focused, we stay in that yes place, things happen. So what is it? I asked you earlier, what is it in your life that you are ready to be unwaveringly committed to? And the reason I ask that is because I think we have a lot of excuses for why we don't commit. Many excuses. The age card is a good excuse. Oh, I'm too old. I never did it before. What makes me think I can do it now? Well, because now you actually understand something about yourself, that you're capable of doing whatever you want to do. Maybe back then, anybody have a youth where they didn't quite know who they were? Hopefully not our youth, because our youth right now downstairs are being taught who they are. I would have loved to have been in a religious science church as a child if I was willing to listen to it and actually exhibit it. Yeah, which is another story. So, next slide. Radical change begins with commitment. So this month, I want you to take a look at what have you been constantly putting down the road. I'll do that someday. I will get to that someday. I always had the story about learning to play the piano. When I was in high school, I was taught how to play the piano enough that I could write songs on the piano, and I could play and accompany myself when I sang. And I kept saying, you know what? I'm going to get a piano teacher. I'm going to really learn how to play a piano. Some of you were in this audience when Paul Horner said he would teach me to play piano. And I did go to Paul Horner because I said, you know what, I'm finally going to commit to this. I went to Paul Horner to learn how to play the piano. I took one lesson and never went back. Why? Because it just seemed like it was going to be too long to figure it out. But here's the problem with it's going to take too long. It's going to take longer if you don't start. Right? So when we say it's going to take too long, well, I am now 69 years old. If I had taken the 5 years that it might have taken when I was 20 to learn how to play the piano really well, imagine where I'd be today. Right, Robbie? Yeah. I could be Robbie Gilman. Maybe not quite as good, but almost. But that's what I'm asking you to look at today. Thank you. You are so amazing. Thank you. We sure it works? You're still amazing. So yeah, it's not working. Oh wait, am I playing it? Turned on? Do we have to turn this on? It just wasn't turned on. So there's a lesson there. You can have all the tools you have, and unless you turn them on with commitment, it doesn't work. And so it is. Okay, we're done here. Well, that's hysterical. Isn't it funny? We never think to go, is it plugged in? No, we don't do that. So, radical change begins with commitment. So today, oh, thank you, Jim. Today is the weirdest day. Thank you for my water. Okay. So, what is it that you have been putting on the back burner or that you've been putting way in front of you for somewhere down the road that you're ready to commit to? And, it doesn't have to be something like gigantic. It can be just, I'm going to commit to be happier. I'm going to commit to be happy in my life. I love what you said. And if you're doing things that you don't like doing, either find a way to like them or stop doing them. There's always going to be somebody who's willing to be paid to do what you don't like to do because they like to do it. Did you ever notice that? I was telling my son the other day about a job I took when I was in between jobs as an actor, and I was in an office. Kevin was in the same office at that time. And the president of the company came out and put these files on my desk and said, the filing cabinets are around the corner. I just need you to file all these. And I just looked at her, I went, I don't file. And she was like, James, it's part of the job. I said, it's kind of not part of my job. I said, so I don't file. I hate filing. I'm not good at it. It would really not benefit you to have me file these. And she said, well, what are we supposed to do? I said, ask someone else to do it. I'm sure there are people that love to file. And she said, but if it's part of the job, are you willing to lose the job if you don't file? I went, absolutely. And she said, so in other words, if I say you're fired, remember Sharon having this whole conversation with me? She goes, if I say you're fired if you don't file these, you're okay with being fired. I went, yeah, I really am. And she picked up the files and gave them to Lynn, said, you're filing, and left. But I taught myself that day that I am a real ass. No, what I really taught myself that day was, speak up. what don't you want to do? And it's not that I've never had to do, done anything that I don't want to do, but at this point in my life, my only commitment is to being happy, is to having fun. If I can't have fun, I'm not doing it. And you know that quote that I use in Mental Muscle? If you can't put your heart in it, take yourself out of it. That's the kind of life we need to live. So what are you ready to say yes to? What are you ready to absolutely commit to? Radical change begins with commitment. So what are you committed? As the song says, imagine. What can you imagine here today? What can you imagine for yourself here today? So yesterday, was it yesterday we went on that thing, that house visit? So Kevin's found this house that he absolutely loves in Palm Springs. Because as you know, Kevin eventually wants to move to Palm Springs, and I will visit him. There's some truth to that. And he will visit me at the beach. So, yeah, desert, beach, couldn't get further apart than that. So anyway, he found this house, and he said, this house, it's everything I want in a house. And I was like, okay. And he brings me over to look at the house on the computer, and the first thing I see is the price. And I just start laughing. I was like, did you win the lottery and not tell me? And it was a $4.5 million house. That's not expensive. I mean, not really. My reaction was expensive, but it was like, and then I said, well, wait. When we were young men, we were two unemployed actors with no money, and I found a house in Studio City that I wanted, and I was so clear this was my house that we ended up selling an apartment in New York that we didn't even own, and then taking all that money and buying the house. And here we are, and we still were unemployed and still had no money, but we'd had enough money to sell this apartment that we didn't own and then buy the house in Studio City. So I was like, we're still those two guys, except now money just flows for us, so I'm not going to say no to this $4.5 million house. I say that in the kitchen of my house, not in Palm Springs. So then we're driving out to Palm Springs, and I hear Kevin say, oh, there's an open house tomorrow at the house we want. And I was like, all right. Oh, that was my Philadelphia accent. All right. Let's go check the house out. So we did. Well, I always feel like I can always find some reason not to buy a house. You can always find something. He showed me one house recently, which was more affordable, and it was a gorgeous house. But I walked into the bedroom, I laid down on my side of the bed, and I was like, do you know what my view is from my side of the bed? A wall. I said, can't do this. And he goes, we could move the bed. I said, nope, it's not working for me. So anyway, we go through this house. Everything was perfect. Everything was just unbelievable. Even the views, because we have a view that is a must for whatever house he buys. And the house has to have views of the mountains, unobstructed. I don't want wires. If you got wires in your neighborhood, not our neighborhood. So we find this house, and the view, you go out the living room, and there are mountains there, there are mountains there, there are mountains, no wires, no wire hangers, no wires, and just amazing views everywhere. So everywhere we looked. Wouldn't it be great if I ended this going, so we bought the house? Well, we did not buy the house. But Kevin played lotto yesterday. And this is where I'm going with this yes, begins with commitment. Kevin said, James, if I win lotto tonight, we're buying that house tomorrow. I said, if you win lotto tonight, what is it, 4 billion or something? $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion. I said, if you win lotto tonight, you can buy the whole neighborhood. I don't care. But here's the interesting thing. Kevin actually bought lotto tickets. Kevin actually filled out the lotto tickets. Kevin actually took the lotto tickets down to the lotto store. I don't even know where you get these things. And placed the lotto tickets. And then last night, went online to look to see if he won. And there was a question about it or something, right? It was like, it's delayed. Yeah. And I was like, that's because they don't know where you are. And so this morning when we woke up, Kevin said to me, he said, we didn't win lotto. But you know where my mind went to that? Because I actually thought, oh my God, there's a part of Kevin that really expected to win lotto. Obviously not enough of it to win, but there's a part of it.
It was your negativity about it.
No, but he's winning me over. I actually think we're going to win lotto someday. Yeah, but some days out there, maybe today. How about today? But here's the thing. I'm now clear, if that is my house, whatever needs to happen will happen. And it's so easy. This is where I got off on. It's so easy to find reasons to say no. I mean, win lotto? Most of us don't. How many people here think they're going to win lotto someday? The $1 billion. You know, I know you want to, Kevin, but do you expect to?
I do. Absolutely. I already have earmarked a couple million for the center.
Oh, you have to win. Yes. Wait, if you win lotto, it's $1 billion. Your tithe is 10%. That's 100 million.
Before or after tax?
According to Edwin Gaines before. Okay. So that's what I'm asking you to do today. And here's the beautiful quote. True imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. Right? So we're talking about the fire in the belly. So your imagination, you can imagine anything. And you know what? In the scheme of things, $4.5 million is not a lot of money. It just isn't. I have a friend who makes $1 million a week. A week. And then when I brought that up, I was like, that's amazing. He was like, it's only $52 million a year. I was like, but no, think about that. But that's true. Everything is relative to the ceiling you put on your life. So, how high can your ceiling be? How vivid can your imagination be? True imagination, it's not daydreaming. It's not just hoping and wishing and whatever those other words are. It's not that. True imagination is tapping into the fire in the belly, knowing who you are, and planning and directing what you want to happen to your life. So, mankind, this is an Ernest Holmes quote, mankind was born into this fire in the belly and lives and breathes into this spark of creation. That's who you are. It's not something you do. You do it every day naturally. It's breath. Inspire is taking in the breath, is breathing in. That's why Eric Overholtzer's, Dr. Eric's work is so profound, because when people really spend the time to inspire, to bring in the breath of life and to bring it in from the fire in the belly, things change. Remarkable things change. So you're not trying to find this, you were born into this. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. So the real question we all need to ask ourselves is, what brings us to that place where we are on fire? What excites you? What makes passion inside of you literally bubble up and you can't help but let it out? The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. And then he says this, Plutarch, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. There is already something inside of you that knows, that absolutely knows. The question is, what does it know? Well, that fire in the belly knows that everything is possible. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. And that you cannot go back and look at the past to prove whether or not it is or is not possible, because you will not do well in that analysis. You must be able to tap into the truth inside of you, the belly. So, our theme this month, everybody say it. Inspire. Now take a deep breath and then say it. Inspire. Did you hear the difference in sound? There is so much power when we bring the breath in, when we literally take the fire in the belly and then let it out. You'd be shocked if you ever paid attention how shallow your breathing is most of the time during the day. We tend to just breathe shallowly. And yet when we take the time to really breathe, your whole body changes. Your whole life changes. Your mind changes. So, inspire means to breathe into or upon. So I have a question for you. What are you willing to breathe life into this month? Karen?
My book?
Your book.
Yes.
Finally. Are we all ready for Karen Oxrider's book to come out? Yes. So it's out in the month of April.
Let's give it a go. Yes. Just say yes.
Just say yes. We'll get it out. Yeah. So, what are you all ready? Bear, what are you ready? You don't have to tell us. What are you ready to breathe life into? More life into? And I know you're at the beginning of your career and your life as a lawyer. But it's a great question to ask. What am I ready to really breathe life into? And when I say to breathe life into, what I really mean by that is to bring the fire in the belly up into the heart, then move from the heart into the mind, staying in the heart as well, and then knowing what needs to be done or what you want to accomplish from that point. That's what I'm talking about. What are you ready to bring life, to breathe life into? So the other definition of inspire is to impel or to motivate. So my question also to you this morning is, what motivates you in life? What motivates you? What causes you to do something? Do you ever notice that you kind of sit on your butt for a while and you're not doing what you even say you want to do? How many people do that? It's like, I want to do this, but you kind of don't get up. You're kind of just there. And it's like, I know I want to do this. So the question is, what moves you to do it? Often, somebody like me may move you because somebody like me out there moves me. I hear somebody, I watch somebody say something inspiring or motivate me to get off my ass and actually do what I say I'm going to do. Do you know that I've actually finished almost all of my TED Talk? It took me all these years. They keep asking me, you should do that, you should do this, you should do this. And then finally, when my book came out, I was like, I am doing it. I'm going to go ahead and schedule it and do it. And then I started writing it. What took that from me? Do you know what took it? I watched a guy on a TED Talk, and it was so inspiring. I was like, I felt like I was in the chorus line. I can do that. I was like, I can do that. What am I waiting for? Am I waiting to get older? That's a stupid thing to think of. So I just started doing it. So what is it? What is it that you are ready? And what motivates you and what causes you to actually do it? And here's what's important about that. You knowing what that is and then finding it and doing it. If you know that something inspires you, somebody told me yesterday that they weren't feeling well, that's why they didn't come to church. And I was like, that's when you should come to church. If you're not feeling good or if something's happening in your life or something's not working out the way you want it to, that's when you come to make sure you hear spiritual truth so that you get excited, so the sparks fly. So the art of the inhale. Here's what I want you to do this entire month. Every day when you wake up, before you get out of bed, I want you to take a giant breath. I want you to imagine the fire in your belly, the authentic you, that little child, and I want you to breathe it all the way up through your body. This is right when you wake up. Fill your entire body. Hold it as long as you can hold it. Imagine yourself just floating on that air, and then slowly let go of it. You're going to do that 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the evening. The whole purpose of this is for you to tap into that fire in the belly, bring it up through the chakras, bring it up into the mind, and then while you are floating and holding, imagine and see what comes up. Just give yourself permission to see what comes up, and then let it go. Every morning when you wake up, you'll start tonight when you go to bed. Every morning when you wake up, and every night when you go to sleep. How's that feel? You all good with that? And if you forget it, don't beat yourself up. Just do it in the middle of the day if you forgot. Whenever you remember that you forgot, remember. And do it. So the whole purpose of this A is to make you realize that you are the fire in the belly. You are the sparks of life that are just floating all around you, and that it's right there for you to tap into. And whatever you desire to use it for, you can. Last point I want to make today. To inspire. Yesterday in Palm Springs, we had this similar topic, a little bit different than what I'm doing this morning, but in Palm Springs, they all sit in a giant circle, and there's a lot of discussion. And one of the questions was about motivation. People came up with what motivates them. And a number of people said, what motivates me is that I want to be, well, Dr. Rick Tamlin said, I want to be an inspiration in the world. I want to inspire people. And he didn't know that was my last slide. And I pulled up to inspire. So I would like to inspire you to inspire others. I would like you to realize it's not just about what can you get out of life, it's what can you give. And we had the perfect example of it. I got all choked up with Joselito this morning. That woman running down the hallway saying, oh my God, you inspire me. That's not what he was trying to do. What he was doing was living an inspired life. So it's not that you need to go out and give a talk or you need to go teach a class. It's that you need to reach into yourself, bring the fire up and live from it so that people will look at you and say, Dr. Eric, I'll have what he's having. Because you see it, because you feel it. So it is your responsibility in this world to live an inspired life, to inspire all those around you because of the way you speak, because of the way you love, because of the kindness in your heart, because of the understanding you have, no matter whether people agree with you or not. I have a little thing on my desk that says, God is speaking no matter who's talking. Not always not easy to do, but God is speaking no matter who's talking. There's something behind everything that is there for you to inspire. So y'all with me? Can we do that this month? Yes. Could we take the ripples from what we do on a Sunday and bring it out into this world? Go right back to imagine that we could live as one and see love everywhere we go, no matter what it looks like, no matter what person it shows up as. Now we're living John Lennon's lyrics. Imagine all the people living in this world as one. And you may say, I am a dreamer, but I am not the only one. And this month, I hope you will join me, and the world will be as one. Namaste.